Hey everyone, thought I'd post this up to show you my first experience changing the hydraulic oil in my excavator. It wasn't really very much clear direction as to how to do it, no fuss, no muss, but I thought, well, may as well go for it. Figured I'd post and show you how I did it. So first of all, ideal thing, get yourself set up at the end of a table so all cylinders can be fully retracted so that you've got the maximum amount of oil already displaced in the tank. Well, before I forget, what I also did was I made sure that the pump speed I set it down to like 25%, so it's barely turning. I'm all set up, ready to go for when it's time to fire it back up. The pump's not going to run at full speed, because I forgot to turn it down. It's already turned down, ready to go. So with everything all drawn back, I removed the tank. I'm just going to get these out of the way. Took the return and suction lines off of the tank, pulled it out of there. The reason I was doing this, by the way, is I probably got about 7, close to 8 hours runtime on it, and I noticed that you see the color of the oil in the tube starting to get a little dark. It was clear to begin with, so I noticed that after about 4 hours of operation. Probably should have changed it then, but I was thinking, it's break-in period. It's normal to get a little bit of dirty oil off the start. So I kept running a bit more. Now lately I've noticed it's getting a little darker, so here I am. So like I said, tank's out. And what I did is brought it over to my bench. The tank comes with this push lock fitting, the vent and door for filling and emptying. Got myself a piece of tube that fits that push lock and also fits this syringe. So I end up taking the tank at first, just sucking, tilting it a bit, slowly starting to get it emptied until I was able to totally lay it on its side and get the majority of the oil out. So I took that oil, and as I was sucking it out, put it into this container here. This mark you see here was the first amount of oil that was in the tank. It went up to that line, so I marked it and then dumped it into this container. And looking at the oil in this container, it's pretty scary looking. I'm wondering if I've got an issue, if I've got a cylinder going, or what the case is. It's been agitated and all, so I'm just going to let that settle for a bit, see how it looks, but pretty nasty looking. Anyway, so what I ended up doing after emptying the tank the first time, I put it back into the excavator, just gently hooked up the lines, no power required. Well, actually there was power required because I turned the radio on, activate the function I wanted to run, and then took my hand and manually cycled the functions back and forth till I got all the oil out of them. You could hear it burping and seeing it coming out the return line at the other end. I also left the joystick in neutral and checked, and they do hold against, it's a great way also to test your cylinder, see if it's holding pressure. So, cycled each function, like I say, holding the joystick, so I knew the valve was open, would be able to shove the oil back to the tank. I have enough range here. That was a nice thing about this table. Had enough range to actually bring the stick all the way down, cycle the boom up and down, which then filled the tank again. So disconnect the lines, pull the tank out, bring it back over to the bench, emptied out the fluid, and ended up with that much, which is just a smidgen less displacement than in the other direction. So now I know when it comes time to fill how much I'm going to stick. First of all, I'll clean oil up to this line, placed into the tank, throw it in the machine, fire it up, run a bit of the functions, then refill the container the second amount, and maybe a smidge more because I did have a little bit of a leak. The bucket cylinder seems to be giving me a little bit of rod seepage. But yeah, so using the syringe after I clean it up, I'll be able to suck new oil out of the container, pump it into this tank, and just reverse the cycle I just did. Once I know I got the air out of it and everything's running good, I can turn the pump speed back up and the excavator will be back in the pit. Thanks for watching.